Wow. I hadn't realized it, but I actually have done 50 of these things. Well, here's the 50 more, hopefully. Self-insertion is a literary device in which a fictional character who represents the real author of a work of fiction appears as an idealized character within that fiction, either overtly or in disguise. In art, the equivalent is the inserted self-portrait, where the artist includes a self-portrait in a painting of a narrative subject. This has been a common artistic device since at least the European Renaissance. Source: Wikipedia. As I said in previous videos, my favorite characters from Marvel Comics are Daredevil, the Silver Surfer, and Captain America. Cap especially holds a special place for me, because those were some of the first comics I ever bought back in the early 80s. So you can imagine my reaction when I heard that Marvel was creating up to 5 more Captain Americas, as if there weren't enough already. Turns out in this storyline that Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers set out across the United States in search of Cap's shield. Not a bad idea for a story in and of itself. Along the way, they will encounter 5 different characters who have taken up the mantle of Captain America. And as it turns out, one of these new Captain Americas is a homeless teenager who happens to be gay. Seriously, a homeless gay teenager named Aaron Fisher is going to be the quote-unquote new Captain America in a storyline called The United States of Captain America. Modern Marvel has a particularly strong hate boner for Cap. First, they replaced him with Sam Wilson, and it's bad enough what they did to him with America Chavez traveling back in time and quite literally leaping in front of him so she could punch Matloff Heatlump. Sorry, gotta work around the YouTube censors here. But they then turned Cap into a literal World War II bad guy. Then there's the whole thing about the Cosmic Cube, and then there was a double. You know what? I really don't care at this point. But really, this is the best you can do? First off, that piercing is not only impractical, it's also dangerous. If you get punched in the face, then good luck prying your nose off the back of your skull. What's he gonna say in the middle of the fight? Whoa! This shit really hurts, man! Well, I wanted to be different. Honestly, I have nothing against anyone who's gay or part of the alphabet community, but it shouldn't surprise me these days. The shippers out there have been trying to make Cap gay for years now. The other part of this is by introducing more characters under the same name, you're only diluting the brand value of that character. Worse yet, this isn't an actual character. Like all other abominations that the recent Marvel staff has created, and I'm looking at you, children of the atom, it's just a copy and paste onto an existing character and then they say, good enough. It's as if they know their work is shit, so they need to glom onto the popularity of existing characters. This isn't creativity, it's appropriation. It shouldn't really surprise me, though, that a generation listening to music that's been largely sampled from better and more talented artists would come up with something that looks like an amalgamation of some of the worst parts of other characters and then want to pat themselves on the back for it. Now, I can hear the cries from those who don't even buy comics but love to post about them on Twitter, as if that actually counts for anything. But Shlomo, representation is important, and Captain America is just a name. Anybody can be Captain America. To the first point, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it does these new characters and those they purport they represent a grave disservice in that they are being used as a cheap marketing stunt. It's like they're being paraded around like some P.T. Barnum circus freak. All that so the quote-unquote creatives and the Twitterati can feel better about themselves at cocktail parties. The other part of this is that you don't think that those you claim to represent deserve a character with their own identity, with the ability to stand on their own. After this storyline, what are the chances this character will ever be heard from again? My guess is slim to none. So tell me again how important it is when this storyline ends and this character is quickly forgotten. So what's the real message here? A disposable character that will quickly be forgotten, has no identity of their own, and has to co-opt the persona of an established character? All in order to grab cheap headlines and praise from a few people on Twitter who will never buy comics ever, is more important than a character that has their own identity, own backstory, and their own power set and can stand on their own without the need to be a generic knockoff of something that came before it? Because that's the message I'm getting. You want to create a gay hero who stands up for runaways riding the rails? Fine. You know what? Here's how you do it. You give him coveralls, a beat-up hat, and a tool belt, and call him or her the Conductor. See that? You have a new character with a distinct name and that you could bring back anytime and not have it feel like a cheap stunt. To the second point, if Captain America is just the name as you claim it is and anybody can be Cap, then you know what? I'm going to start a band with 3 other guys I find off the street and we're going to call ourselves the Beatles. Let's see how well that works out. Ultimately, these off-brand heroes just end up diluting the character and it leads to confusion. It shouldn't surprise me though, given that this new version of Marvel attempts to create new characters, we get, well, this. I said it in the last video, and I will keep saying it. As much as people who follow the industry malign a guy like former Marvel editor Jim Shooter, if you put this on his desk, he would at least have the good sense to say, "What the f*** is this?" right before he fired your ass. See you next time.
Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the Nets are gonna kick in. My